Angie with Brushes and Boards and Team Unique Designer for Unique in the Creek. I am doing kit number 139 LG, which comes with your sign, welcome sign, your zip ties, which I already have on my board, jute poly mesh, 1 roll, comes with some Chanel stems, a tape measure, and your cable tie mounts. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to pull you down and we're going to get to it. Okay, so this is my board. This is a large Unique in the Creek board, and this is how I have it loaded on the back. So if you want to screenshot that, you would do that right now. We are going to use 16 pieces of mesh. This is all our ribbon that comes with the kit, which is awesome. Get 4 full rows of ribbon. And we're going to roll our mesh. I'm going to show you how I roll my mesh. This is going to kind of be a pancake style, so kind of a more flat wreath. So what I'm going to do is, let me put this up here so you can see what I'm doing. I fold it 1 time, just like that, and I'm going to ruffle it up the middle, all the way up, right down the middle. This is just called a ruffle. And then I'm going to fold this side down and pull it in. And this is going to be a ruffle, okay? I'm going to put mine in upside down. When you put it in upside down, it makes it not as fluffy, not as full of a wreath. And I want this one upside down. So I'm going to put it in my zip tie and zip it up. Tighten it and cut it off. And we're going to do this all the way around this first row, first line, okay? So let's fold another one. Fold it over 1 time. This is just so I cut this mesh. So this, you're folding this over 1 time so you don't see the fraying, okay? That's why we're doing this. Ruffled all the way up the middle. When you get to the end, you're going to pull this part down and fold it over 1 time and pull it together. And that's your ruffle again. So we're going to turn it over because I want mine curl down. You could do curl up if you want. I'm just doing mine curl down. Tighten it up and clip it off. We're going to keep made already, so we're going to do this. And I'll show you how to make one again in a little while. Stick it in your next zip tie and keep working around. We're going to go around and cut these zip ties off real quick. So let's do that now. My ribbon tails. These are my ribbon tails. I got them all ready, packed up. I've got 2 different ones, so this is going to be 1 set of ribbon tails with the solid and the 2.5 tan. And this is going to be the other set of ribbon tails. The tan, 2.5, and a different 1.5. This all came in your kit. So I'm going to have 2 different sets of ribbon tails. What I'm going to do is, all these ones on row 2 right here that we did not load, every other one, we're going to put a zip tie in there, and we're going to put a set of tails in those. I didn't put them in yet because I wanted you to see how I did it as I was going. So I'm going to put a zip tie in on row 2 on the one I didn't have. I'm going to do it up just till you hear it click. I'm going to take one of my tails, sets of tails. I like to put mine a little sideways like this. It helps me a little bit. And you crinkle it up the middle and turn it sideways. And this is going to be your set of ribbon tails, okay? Now, when you're doing a large board, you have to put them in this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little nib. So once you fold it over like this, you're going to create a little nib, a little, I don't know what you call it, a little nib on the top. Any other time I would rubber band these and make them all at one time, but today I'm not. I'm going to stick it straight into the zip tie. So the zip tie I just put in, you're going to stick it in there about a ½ inch. And let me cut it off and I'll show you. So this is what it's going to look like. And don't worry, it's all going to cover. See that right there? See that little nib I got under that zip tie? That's what you want to do. All the way around on line 2 on the empty ones. So you're going to put another zip tie in. The empty one on line 2. Maybe, if I can find the hole. You're going to close it till it clicks. And then you're going to take your other set. So you can do every other one. This one's going to be the solid one. So I'm going to turn it sideways just a little bit. Crinkle it up the middle. Just like that. Create my little nib, which is right here at the end. Just like that. And stick it in the zip tie. We're going to finish that on row 2 right now. So I'm going to go around and do all those right now. Pop your divot in your ribbon tails, which your divot is right all the way up to the zip tie. You want to pop them ribbons so they lay nice and flat and straight. So that's what we've got. I need to fix my camera a tiny bit, guys. Sorry about that. Hold on. Let me fix you a little bit so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. Sorry. There, that should be better. There we go. That should be better. Alright, so we're going to keep going all the way around on row 2. If I can get my life together. Alright, so another zip tie into the empty 2 holes on line 2. I don't know if they call it line or row. I call it line and row, so I apologize about that. Zip it together, just a little click, and then go in with your colored one, not your solid one. Angle it just a tiny bit, crinkle it up the center, turn it sideways, just like that, and create your little nib on the top. That's your little nib. Drop it in your zip tie. Pop your divot and keep going. Next set of holes. You're not seeing that really good, are you? Sorry. There we go. That might be a little better. So stick it in your next available holes on line 2. You could do all these zip ties at one time before. I just chose not to do that on this live so you could really see what I was doing. It probably would be easier for you to put them all on one time, but I did not. Zip it up a tiny bit. Get your next tail, which is going to be the solid this time. I turn mine a tiny bit, crinkle it up the middle, turn it to the side, create your little nib, and stick it in your zip tie. Super simple. Tighten it up, cut it off. Pop your divot. That means get your fingers up under the ribbon, right all the way up at the zip tie. And then just keep going. Your ribbon tails are going to get messed up the whole time. I'm not going to keep fixing them until the end because you'll fix them 20 times before you get to the end. So your next available holes on line 2, you're going in between each mesh is what you're doing. Zip a tiny bit. Get your next ribbon tail. I turn mine a tiny bit. Crinkle. Nib. Stick in your tie. See that tie right there? Stick it in about a 1/2 inch. Tighten it up and cut it off. Pop your divots. Make sure tails lay nicer. And keep going. Solid tail next. Create your nib. Put it in. There's all kinds of different ways you can do this. This is just seems to be the easiest way for me because I do not like to put all my tails and mesh in at the same time. If you have bad hands, this is just easier for me. We only got 2 more left on this line, on line 2. So I'm putting it in the empty set. Zipping, tiny bit. Next ribbon tail. And guys, if you have not shopped Unique in the Creek, you have to go check out all their stuff. They have amazing kits that are really cheap. And if you've never done one of these boards are amazing, let me tell you. I cannot make wreaths. And I tried these boards and I cannot stop. They're so much fun and so easy to do. Okay, this is our last one on row 2. Stick it in your last empty one on row 2. Find your hole. Barely zip it. And take your last solid that you're going to use on this line. Crinkle. Turn it sideways. Create your nib. Alright, so let me show you what it looks like really quick so far. Pop your divot. And this is what we have so far, which is really pretty so far. Check that out. Isn't that pretty? So now we're going to go in with our third row line. And you've only got 4 on the third line, okay? All you're going to put on this third line is mesh. You're going to do 4 pieces of mesh the same way. So I'm going to take my curl that I already did, my ruffle, flip it upside down because I want curl down, and you're just going to stick it in 4 zip ties on line 3. That's it. Super simple. So here's my first one. Zip it up and tighten it, cut it off. Now we'll go to our second one. You only have 4, remember, on line 3. This mesh is cut at 21 inches. This mesh is cut at 21 inches, and I used the whole roll. My ribbon tails are cut at 14 inches. So 2 more on row 3. Take my curl, flip it over, upside down, curl down. Put your next one in. Zip it up, tighten it, clip it off. One more. Nope, I'm sorry, two more on row 3. 2 more pieces. So take your next ruffle, flip it over, curl down. We're still on line 3. Stick it in. Line 3 does not get any ribbon tails the way I do it. No ribbon tails on line 3. Tighten it up, clip it off. Now we've got one more, which is right here. Take your curl, flip it over, curl down, and put it in your last zip tie on line 3. So on this, you're going to use 16 pieces of mesh, and you're going to use 12 sets of ribbon tails. All right, so look how full that is already. Really full, okay? Now on line 4, we're going to use just our last row of ribbon tails. No mesh, just ribbon tails. So you're going to go in there and find your last 4 zip ties, and you're going to take a ribbon tail, scrunch it up, turn it sideways, create your nib, and stick it in one of your zip ties. You've only got 4 on this line. Zip it up tight, flip it off. So this tool right here tightens it and flips it at the same time. Pop your divot in your ribbon tails just like that, and then go to your next one. This one is going to be the flannel looking one. I guess it's flannel looking, this one. Flannel looking, I guess. Scrunch. Turn to the side. Create your nib. Stick it in the zip tie. You're not going to see most of this. You'll see a little bit of this ribbon because we're putting a, well, no, you'll see most of it because we're not using a round sign this time, so you will see most of it. Pop your divot. So I'm just getting my hands down in there and popping that divot in the ribbon. Super simple. Makes your ribbon lay much nicer. Okay, now we're going to go in with the solid. Crinkle, turn to the side, create your nib, stick it in the next zip tie. We'll have one more after this, then we'll put our sign on. Zip it up. Tighten it and cut it off. Pop your divot. Okay, one more. One more on this row. And that's the flannel one. This is our last set of ribbon tails. Crinkle it up the middle. Turn it sideways, just like that. Create your nib. Stick it in your last zip tie. I didn't put my last zip tie in there. Let me do that real quick. Sorry. Forgot to put my last one in. Hold on. There we go. All right. Zip it up a tiny bit. Guess what? I just put the zip tie in the wrong way. Guys, make sure you put your zip tie in the right way, because that stings having to take it back out. And get it in there. Come on. You can do it. Sorry, I'm having a problem with this hole. What in the world? There it is. Okay, I got it. Well, I had it. I just slipped out. Okay. Flip it up a tiny bit and put your last ribbon tail in. We already have it folded in our nib, just like that. Stick it in. Tighten it up. Cut it off. Pop your divot. And so this is what we have so far. Now remember, our ribbon tails are going to look not pretty until the end. We're going to put our sign on next, and then we'll go around and fix them all. This is what it is so far. Isn't that pretty? Very pretty. So now you're going to find your top, which your top is these two holes right up here. These two holes right here is your top. So I'm going to put my sign on. Now this is my sign. I already put my cable tie mounts on the back, which I use E6000 and hot glue around them, because the E6000 takes about 24 hours to dry, and a lot of times I don't have 24 hours, so I hot glue around them. I cut this rope off because I don't want this. I'm gonna double some chenille stems because this is kind of fluffy. So I'm gonna take 4 chenille stems. You can use the ones in your kit. It came with chenille stems. I'm just grabbing the ones that I have here. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put 2 together. Sorry about that ring. I'm gonna put 2 together. It's just easier to get them in if I double them. A lot of people don't. I just like to double them. I'm gonna slip it in one of my cable tie mounts, and I'm gonna tie it up. Now I'm gonna do the other one. I'll put 2 together. So all I'm doing is wrapping these together. Put it in. And twist it twice. Now we're gonna put our sign on. I want mine kind of a little crooked. I don't want mine straight across. So I'm gonna go in on my left side. I'm gonna find the holes first and slip them in. So I'm slipping them any 2 holes that you can find where you want to hang your sign. It doesn't matter if it has mesh and ribbon in it. Just slip them down in there. I just pull it down until I get my other side in, and then I twist them. So now I'm going to go on this side and find my 2 holes. Now I don't want it straight across. I want it kind of cockeyed. So I'm not going to pick the same holes that I just used on the other side. I'm going to use some that are a little higher up. So I'm going to put these in. Make sure that's where I want it. I'm going to pull my ribbon tails out to where you could see them. out from underneath the board on all sides. And now I'm going to make sure this is where I want this. We'll fix our tails later. I just want to make sure these are all out where I want them before I tie my sign down. So that's good right there. I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to tighten these. And I only pull to where I don't really jam on it. I just pull to where I can't pull anymore and then tie them. I don't want it to be really tight. So just like that, and twist it a couple times. I'm not going to cut these off until I make sure that sign is where I want it. And it is, but I have it a little tight. See how it's kind of pulling down my mesh a lot? I want to loosen it a little. I don't want it to really jam down on that mesh. So I'm just going to loosen it a little bit and tie it again. I don't want it really mushing my mesh, if that's a word, mushing. I don't want it really squishing my mesh. So I'm just going to loosen it a tiny bit and tie it up again. And then check it. That's much better. Your sign's not going to go anywhere, but it's not mushing down all your mesh. Okay, so this is what we have so far. We're going to go back behind, and we're going to clip these off and tuck them in because you don't want them to scratch anybody's doors. So I just clip them off and I tuck them back down in the holes. That way it doesn't scratch anybody's door on both sides. Just slip them right back down in them holes. Okay. Keep in mind we have not fixed our ribbon tails yet. We're going to make a bow now. And I want a bigger bow to go up top. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to push this to the side and we're going to make a bow. And I want it to have tails. So we're going to make a bow with tails. So this is my bow maker. These come from Unique in the Creek as well. If you purchase from Unique in the Creek, if you go to Brush and Board Stencil It Up on Facebook, at the top of my page, you'll see my affiliate link. And if you wouldn't mind shopping from there, I'm going to take my 2.5 first. And I want tails, and I don't want them real long. I'm going to do about 14-inch tail, okay? So, I'm going to make a bow to put on the top of my wreath. I'm going to do 6-inch loops. And I'm going to do 2 on each side. 2 loops on each side. So those are both 6-inch. I want 1 more on each side, which would make 2 on each side. And then I'm going to pull this down to get me another tail, just like this one, and cut it off. And you still have some ribbon, well, 1/4 of the ribbon left out of your kit, which is awesome because you could use it on something else. I like to spread these out as I'm going. Some people do it later. I like to do it now. So now I'm going to use this next one that we haven't used yet that came in the kit. I'm going to do tails again, just the same length as what we already did. I'm going to go down 1/2 inch. So this loop is going to be 5.5 inches. 1 on each side is what I'm going to do. 5.5 inch loops. And I'm going to take my tail down again and clip it off. So now we're going to go in with this plain one that came in the kit. Same size tail. And this one's going to be 5 inches. So every time I switch a color of ribbon, I go down 1/2 inch. So this one's going to be 5. And it's going to be 2 on each side again. So 5-inch loops, 2 on each side. tail again, just like the other ones. I like to spread mine out now. You don't have to, that's just the way I like it. And now we're going to take this last ribbon and put it on the top. I'm going to do my tail again. And this one's going to be 4.5 because the last one was 5. Now I'm going to do 1 loop on each side at 4.5. So 4.5, 1 on each side, and we're going to do a center loop, which I normally don't do, but I'm going to do it this time. So you'll twist again. I'm going to do a center loop, and I'm going to pull the tail down. So we always want that second tail. I use Chanel stems on my bows. Some people use zip ties. I use Chanel stems. So I'm going to double these again because I like them long. Twist them together. And we're going to finish our bow. So you want to get your bow as tight as you can. Twist it a couple times. I always like to go in and finger scissors my ribbon. It kind of curls it and makes it go where you want it to. So ribbon scissors or finger scissors, whatever these are called. And I run my fingers through every tail. And then I'm going to go around and pull out my center loop. And I'm going to fluff my bow. I usually fluff one side and then flip it around and fluff the other. You do however you like. And this is going to be my bow. Let's put this on and see how it looks. So I want mine at the top. Let's fix our ribbon tails first. We're going to go around and fix all of our ribbon tails because this should be the last time we have to touch them. So all you're going to do is pull them out and make sure they're straight and nice looking all the way around your wreath because they do get messed up as you're working with it. I suggest not to do this till the end because they're going to keep getting messed up until you're finished. So all you're doing is making them go the right way and making sure they're flat and straight. So now we're going to go in our second row and fix those. In this middle, you're not going to see because your tails are going to cover that. So don't worry about that. You're not going to see that. Your tails are going to cover it from your bow. There are a ton of different ways to do this. This is just one way. So now we're going to put our bow in right up at the top in the middle. So you're going to go in and find your holes right in the middle of the wreath and pop in your bow. With both your Chanel stems. Okay. I'm gonna bring it up to where I need it. And I'm gonna twist it in on the back. I don't pull it really tight. I just pull it to where it doesn't go anymore, but not tight. I'm gonna fix my tails. They're gonna need cut because we don't want to cover up all the welcome. Actually, I think I'm gonna move my bow up a little higher. I probably should have put my sign a little lower. I'm gonna move my bow up a tiny bit higher, and I might move my sign a little lower. I'm not quite sure yet. So let me pull this out and go up a little higher with my bow. Sorry. So once you get it on there and you know you want it higher, you just take it out and put it back in where you want it. This is why these boards are so easy. Just put it in a different hole. Hold a little tight, not real tight. Twist it on the back. Fix your tails again. Now I'm going to trim these off, and I'm going to see if I need to take my sign a little lower. We're going to see. So I'm going to trim off my tails. I don't want them this long. I don't do them all at the same length. I do them at different lengths. You could do it however you like. I just do mine at different lengths. Let me look at that. You can give your little tails a curl if you want. I think I like it like that. I think I'm going to leave it like that. So let me hold it up and look at it, and then I'll show it to you. This one's still a little bit long. So let me hold it up and check it out, and then I'll show you. See if I like it. Oh, that turned out super cute. Okay, so we're all finished. Let's show you the finished product. All right, and that's it. I'm trying to get in the middle of my camera. Isn't that pretty? Super simple. Guys, anybody can make these wreaths with these boards. I could not make wreaths before I started doing these boards. They are amazing. So go check out uniqueandcreek.com and get you a kit or some boards and start making them today. Because look how cute that is. And it didn't take us no time at all.